Hello guys, welcome back. This is part 2 of the Football Manager 2018 experiment, where we switched FC United of Manchester with Manchester United in the league. It's been 5 years since we last saw each other, so let's go ahead and see what's happened since. So when we last saw FC United of Manchester, they had finished 16th in Sky Bet League 2. They have since managed to get promotion via the playoffs, before achieving an 8th place in Sky Bet League 1, a 19th place, a 5th place, and finally this season having won the Sky Bet League 1. So we can see that their reputation and their club attendance has improved marginally. A 1,500 point reputation increase there. Financially, they've still got £45 million in the bank, as well as a £29 million transfer budget and a wage budget of £546,000 a week. They still haven't improved their stadium or used any of their expansion capacity. Over the years, they have started to spend a little bit more cash. £1.5 million in the 22-23 season, £3.6 million in the 23-24 season, only £87,000 in the 24-25 season, £2.8 million in the 25-26 season, £650,000 in the 26-27 season, and so far this season they have managed to spend £4.7 million. So, Manchester United now. When we last saw them, there was back-to-back promotions, every season finishing first place. Their first season in the Premier League, they managed a 5th place finish, followed by a third, and a 4th. So they won the Euro Cup in 2024, followed by the European Super Cup also in 2024. They won the FA Cup in 2025, and also won the Carabao Cup in 2024 as well as in 2027. Community Shield was won in 2025 as well, and the under-23s have been fairly successful since. As we can see, their reputation has actually increased by a couple of hundred points. Financially, they're looking pretty sound with £277 million in the bank, with £141 million to spend this season with the transfer budget, and £5.5 million in the wage budget. Facility-wise, it looks like Old Trafford has also received an increased stadium size. They've not been shy of their spending either, having spent £228 million in the 22-23 season, with £97 million coming in sales. They followed it up with £179 million, £80 million of which on Kingsley Coman, and bringing in £8.25 million in worth in sales. They followed it up with £26.5 million worth of buying, most of which on Josh Tymon from Stoke, and bringing in £15 million in sales. Then there was £153 million, bringing in Justin Kluivert and Pierre-Emile Holberg mostly, followed up with £40.5 million in sales. They then spent £125 million, partly to bring back Axel Tuanzebe, and then brought in £11.25 million in sales. £23.5 million has been spent so far this season, and £2.7 million have been brought in. So guys, we're going to push it forward another 5 years, and we'll be back together after this cut. Right then guys, so we've pushed it forward 5 more years. We're now in 2032, and we're going to start by looking at FC United of Manchester. So as we can see, they've not really won anything else since we last saw them. They've managed to get, obviously, since they've been in the Championship, which they won Sky Bet League 1. They've been in the Championship, we've got 16th, 14th, 16th, 21st, and 15th. They're kind of not that great. I think this might be their highest tier, to be honest. If we have a look at the club details, we can see their reputation has bolstered up to nearly 5,500 now. Their club attendance is 9,400. Financially, they've only got £6.5 million in the bank. They're not a strong side. Their capacity of their stadium is now up to 12,122, 8,800 of which is seated. And yeah, I don't think they're going to be doing much better. Training facilities up to 17, youth facilities up to 17, coaching, recruitment, corporates all pretty terrible. I can't see them improving too much more. So in the 27-28 season, they brought in £12.5 million worth of players, sold off £98,000. Following season, 13.5 and 1.2. spent no money the following season, brought in 450,000 through sales, 130,000 through brought in, spent on players, sorry, 325,000 brought in. Last season, 950,000 spent, 775 brought in, and finally they spent 1.1 million so far this season. So taking a quick look at their key player, they've got this guy here, Brandon Rivers. He's 30 years old. He does look decent physically. As for defence sort of skills, he's looking all right. Passing's pretty dismal. We can see that they bought him for 1.8 million from Rotherham in the 27-28 season. This is their hottest prospect, Stephen Morton, yet another defender. Doesn't look too bad for 18 from Northern Ireland. They picked him up for 13.25k 2 seasons ago. If we have a look at his, that's the wrong one. If we have a look at his potential, only has a potential of 122, so not really a strong player. So switching to Manchester United now, we can see that they're still rich. They're still in the European Champions Cup, and they've got Brendan Rodgers as their manager of all people. He doesn't look too bad a manager, to be fair. £93,000 a week seems a bit excessive for a man of his, shall we say, talents. He's also been at Juventus, Barcelona and Newcastle after leaving Celtic. So after regaining their Premier League status, they've not finished below 5th, but they've not finished above 3rd either. It's not been a fantastic run for them. I mean, don't get me wrong, top 5 is good, but you'd think that in the 10 years that they've been here, they would actually win the league. As we can see here, they were runners-up in the European Champions League in both 29 and 31. They won the European Super Cup in 30, as well as the Euro Cup in 30. They won the Carabao Cup in 29, and they were the runners-up in 28. And that seems to be it. It doesn't seem to really, outside of the youth side, they've not really been overly successful for a club of their size. So if we look at their club details, their reputation is up to 9,000. The maximum club attendance is 134,000. If we look at their finances, they've got quite a bit in the bank. Is that 182 million they have there, with an 87 million pound transfer budget? If we look at their facilities, Old Trafford is at 94,000. All of their facilities are, apart from the corporate facilities, more or less perfect. The train facilities just needs one more point put in. So looking at their key player, this guy here, Simon Falkenhayn, he's 30 years old. He's rated at 75 million pounds, and he is an absolute monster. They bought him well, way back in 10 years ago from Frankfurt for 41 million pounds. Since then, he's averaged well over 7.3. Looking at their hot prospect, Philip Harvey here, he's an 18-year-old. He's been with the club from the off, and he has a potential ability of 176, so he's going to be reasonably good. His physicals are already pretty much bang on. So we picked it up in the 27-28 season. They spent £88 million and brought in £32.5 million through sales. The following season, they spent £183 million and brought in £65 million through sales. Then they spent 40, brought in 17. Then they spent £151 million, brought in 17 million. Last season, they spent £101 million and brought in 38. And currently, this season, they've spent £92 million and have brought in £1.1 million. This guy here, Bojan Kolaric, he looks like he could be quite good. 21 years old. They signed him from Dinamo. His attribute details, he's only got potential ability of 156, though, and he's at 148 now. He's pretty much at his peak. But if we look at their squad, if we actually look at their first team squad, you can see the value of the players is just absolutely astronomical. Their cheapest player is Mensi Padron at 19.25 million. And that's probably partly because of his age. The other thing you'll notice is there's not a single Englishman in their first team squad. Not one. There's a Scotsman who appears to be the only Brit in the team. So I'm imagining, I mean, I've not looked, but I'm imagining that Brexit was one of the easier Brexits in this game. And there we have it, guys. That's part 2 of the experiment done. I don't think there's going to be too much change with regards to the teams from this point onwards. But if you would like to see a part 3 where we can go forward another 5 years and another 5 years after that for a total of 10, then do let me know in the comments. Quite happy to do so. But I honestly don't think anything else will change. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me. If you have enjoyed today's experiment, please do like the video. If you're new to the channel, why not subscribe and check out both the Journeyman save and the Red Bull Leighton Orient save. And I'll see you when I see you. Take care. Bye-bye.